Here he goes. Go. Good.
That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail. Yeah, looks sick. Good deal.
Look how broad that thing is.
I wonder if that was the one that pulled me in.
Beautiful. Oh my. That's a big
That's a
fish.
big fish, dude.
Limp.
That's what I've been waiting for all day.
That's over 6.
Felt that bite.
Damn, I think low and slow is the way to go, eh, baby?
First big of the year on.
The thing I'm about to tie on.
Get him, get him.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Calm down. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Yeah, dude!
Dude.
6 pounds, 11 ounces.
Oh my god, please get the net. Please, 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 please get the net.
I got you, buddy. Oh my god. I got you.
That was the weirdest bite ever. Oop. That was a good one? Yep.
Sure, feels like it.
Sure is.
I can't turn her head, bud. Holy shit. What the? Is that another 6?
Could be.
It's the second giant of the day, proving that point. Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! Big baits, big fish. There we go, 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Beauty! Let's go. Got him. Get in here, you. There's another 6. You. That's a big fish.
6'10". Woo-hoo-hoo. Little fatty.
Oh my god.
If I can land this fish.
Holy sh! 5.06. She's sick. Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy sh! God. What a beast. Dude, that's it, that's it! I'm 4 pounds smaller. I need a picture. Sorry.
Oh wow. That might be a 4. That might be a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off too. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy. Trailers, what's getting it done? Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, that's unbelievable. That's a 4.
He's still swimming.
There we go. That's a big fish. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes! 414 though. Gee. Not too shabby. Add, remove, add, and add. How the hell is everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to Reel Northern Bass Talk. 2-week break. We all took a break from the holidays, but we're back. And you know what, Andrew? I'm sliding you down. I'm going to put our guest up a little higher. You know what? I got to get rid of the banner.
Keep Andrew up there.
I gotta remove the banner because it's just gonna be in the way the whole dang time.
What is that? What's that show? Hey, George.
Oh yeah. Home Improvement, Tim Allen.
Yep.
Howdy ho, neighbor. Oh man. So anyway, how you doing, Derek?
How
Hey,
are
Derek.
you guys? What's up? How are you, Andrew?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, man. You know,
Good.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, everything's lovely, but everything's pretty good, man. Everything is pretty good, so can't
I
complain.
feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. How are you doing, Sean?
I am.
Existing.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm in. Admittedly, not a terrible spot, but not a great spot. I got a lot on my mind that I need to work through. So.
Uh-oh. Well, you know what? Such is life, dude. I feel like every day that we get older, it's like, man, all those cliches when your parents used to be like, this is the best time. You have no responsibility. And then all of a sudden you're in your 30s. It's like, fuck, they were right.
Yeah, no, dude, for
At
real.
least for me, man.
Oh, yeah.
It just doesn't end. And I just keep finding myself in the same boot loop of a situation that I just can't seem to escape. So it is what it is. I've got a lot thinking to do on how I'm going to approach this situation and what actions I'll take from here. But I'm just, trying to take my time, work through it,
Yeah.
and then go have the conversations I need to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's all you can really do. I assume this is work related, hopefully, and not family related because
It's not family related.
well, that's good. So that's the most important thing, at least in my opinion. Just, man, you get those reality checks sometimes too, when other things tend to creep into your brain and get in the way. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, whoa, that's not the most important thing.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. So anyways, dude, it's good to see you guys. I feel like I see you both like once a year.
Yeah,
I know it.
Yeah. Are you guys going to be at the expo this year, I assume?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In some way, shape, or form, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that still need to be answered as to who's going to be there and how that will better dictate what that looks like.
Yeah.
I'm actually supposed to have a conversation with Dan next week to start figuring that out. I got to talk to Oliver to see what we're doing for Big Bass Dreams and Defiant. Last I had checked, sounds like they're going to be there. But
Cool.
We had that conversation like probably 2 months ago. So I don't see any reason why that will have changed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that show is, my opinion, at least my opinion is and I'm sure Dan would agree, but I think that show for the bass guy is the best in the Northeast. I mean,
yeah, without a doubt.
It's like, I know our market's small comparatively. Like the state of Texas probably has more BISS memberships and whatnot than our entire region. That may or may not be true, but my point is, from a market perspective, it's small, but I do think, it is the best show in the region. And honestly, the audience is awesome. We love, we have a good time at that show. So it's every year that goes by, we have less of a good time just because we're getting older and, between, I just can't keep up with the Jays anymore. I never could, but,
you guys go too hard for 3 straight days.
Hey man, we all collectively, yeah, those guys are animals in the best way possible. But,
yeah, they are.
They are. Yeah, so we'll be there. Actually, I need to pay Dan. You just reminded me. Actually, one of many things that I need to do. Anyways,
yeah.
Let's
talk
about fun stuff.
Well, but real quick, while we're on the topic,
Carl,
thinking about
up, man?
Thinking about what we're doing here for the expos this winter. Let's talk about that one first, just really quick. The New England Fishing Expo is this February, first weekend in February, which I think is the 2nd through the 4th, if memory serves correct.
I think you're right.
And it is a slight change in locations. It is no longer in Boxborough, Mass. It is just down the road in Marlborough, I think. Yes.
I think you're right. I know it's like 25, 30 minutes closer to me.
Yep. And it's
lovely.
I'm not sure. It's probably only like another 20 minutes going down the highway. Like if you're coming in from north of Boxborough, it's straight down the highway to another highway, which I forget, and then it's right off that. It's seriously, it's like 15 to 20 minutes extra drive. It's really not that big of a deal. And honestly, I do like this location better. Nothing against Boxborough, but it's just a big open building. Yeah. So you don't have to try and go to one room in one section. Like everybody's in the same area. There's a lot more room. People will be a little bit better spread out. So navigating around and finding everybody will be really easy. They got a really good layout for doing the hog trough again, as well as other seminars. I told Dan, dude, sign me up every day. I'll do a seminar all 3 days. So that's my intent. We'll see what happens. But yeah, either way, we'll be there. It's going to be good.
It's a fun little like reprieve, like, I know it's work, Alex. Like everybody's always struggling on Sunday when I show up. Yeah, dude, don't come on Sunday. There's no more peepholes. No. Yeah, that hotel is like a relic. But that's honestly what made that venue so fun. Like the bartenders are cool. They're accepting of the group's absurd behavior for 30, 35-year-old men.
Yeah, you get 200 freaking bass fishermen to go to the bar. It gets wild.
All you need is our table, and it's enough, I think, for most of those people.
Yeah.
Embarrassingly, I say that, but yeah, no, I'm excited, dude. I'm excited just because, like, it's that time of year where we're still like depending on the type of winter we have. Well, you guys, I feel like, are always pretty much locked up where you are. But down here, if we get a mild winter, which it does not seem like we're going to, it's been dipping into the 20s like already. But it's like a good time to have the show. It gets people like amped up to go fish. It's a good time. And it's a good time, literally and actually. You know what I'm saying? The timing is good and it's a good time. So yeah, we'll be there for sure with the Jays. Yeah, Carl, I don't know, but I'm sure this place has a bar. But like you said, John, you know, the open, I do think this is one big open room, and I was already starting to give Dan a hard time. I was like, it's a new venue. Like, people know our location. Like, you know, we like hanging out with our regulars. And so it's, he's like, don't worry. It's actually one big open room. There shouldn't be a losing space, you know, in the venue. And if it is truly just a big square, you know, hopefully it's just a continuation in a bigger, easier forum of what the show was. So
I honestly think it's going to be better because
I do too, but I don't want to say that. I don't want to jinx it, because the reality is, I mean, it's still, you know, it's still an obligation, you know, like I'm away from the family, like we all are. It is what it is. It's work. And guess what? Work could be way worse. I know this, you know this. So, yeah, we all know this. So, about an hour and 20 in a winter storm. God, some of you guys showed up. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago? We had like 20 inches of snow.
That was fun.
I drove down. I was there all day. It was, honestly, I enjoyed the drive.
To get down there, it took me down some like bunk ass back road.
You and I took the same path.
Was it the same path? Dude, that one, it was like steep like this, and it was a turn. I was like, this is where I die. This is
the end.
Yeah, well,
this
I have
is the end.
My 250 socked in the snow.
You have as in an F-250?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you had a big old F-250, Andrew.
Yeah, I did.
I used to.
You total it?
No.
Did it die?
No.
You traded it in? Oh.
No. Sold it and made an upgrade.
Yep.
Least exciting option.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't need to crash any more vehicles.
No, but so I get final parting thought on that. The first Swimbait expo that Dan had done was at this location, and it's definitely better just because it's one giant open area, so everybody's going to be set up in a nice grid format. It's going to be easy to get around everything. Easy location in and out. There's actually several food options like right there on that road too, so if anybody's like coming down and hoping they get some food either before or after too, like you've got a bunch of options. It's just a better location all in all. So
it is just
either way,
we'll
be there. I'm excited. Let's real quick for a quick open water fishing report here. We've been out. I went out Black Friday and on Sunday went into like north central the New Hampshire area and kind of the same area for Vermont both days. Water temp on one of the smaller bodies where we went to was still actually like 43 to 44, which is really good. And then the bigger body of water we went to on Sunday, Andrew, I can't remember, what was it, 45 still?
I think it was 46. It was like 44 to 46, somewhere in there.
And we got there kind of later in the day. We gambled in one spot in the morning. It kind of was okay. I mean, but we got 4 bites, only ended 3 of them, but 2 of them were good. The big smallies. Andrew had a 471, I had a 406, so like that works. And then we went to the bigger body of water. It's probably like 800 acres, and there's actually a substantial amount of water that's like 30 feet or deeper. So with that in mind, that puts some perspective on the water temp. But I can tell you, from what we've seen so far, if you've got areas like that, you can go fish these bigger, at least deeper bodies of water. I really firmly believe that the majority of those fish, as long as you're below 50 degrees, have finally pushed up to those mainland points, and they're getting into like their established wintered haunts. And hopefully you can use that information and do really well. Andrew and I were very effective with this on Sunday. 23.56 pounds, I forget, for our best 5. 23.5 something. I did catch my PB Smallie, which I'm very happy about. 5.46. Took a long time, but got it. And it's funny because like in the intro video, I freaked out about one of the fish I caught, which did end up being my PB, but it was like 5.04 in that clip, I think. And then I beat it No, maybe that's a 5.06. Regardless, and I've caught a bunch of fish that were like just a hair under 5, and I've freaked out every time. Dude, I pulled this fish up, and it was like the most anticlimactic thing.
We're like, yeah, that'd be like 4.5 points.
And that because neither one of us really stopped to look at it, and I put it on the scale, and it still wasn't looking at the fish. Looking at the scale, and all of a sudden it shot past 5. I'm like, oh! And then I'm looking at just the number, and it finally settled at like 5.4 something, and started tweaking. So I took a step back. I was like, oh, holy God! Yeah, that's big.
You know, honestly, if I catch a smallmouth, 4 pounds or better, I'm always just as excited. You know what I mean? Like that it's a smallmouth. I don't know. Like I just, even with Candlewood here, I think I haven't fished in a couple of weeks. I actually backed the boat into the rock wall the other day. Yeah, there was like an Amazon truck and Kim's Jeep, and my driveway's like 100 yards up. Anyways, I'm up high, and it was inevitable. And so I think I'll probably just try and JB weld this little area on the lower by the trim pump. I think it should be fine. I really,
don't worry about it.
I'll fix it and spend the money in spring. This is going to be like my last trip. I do want to get out one more time because, like you said, I know specifically on Candlewood the fish are pretty much in winter mode. I'm sure you can still catch a couple fish shallow, but I know that for the most part, it'd probably be a good time to go out there and fish 25 feet or deeper, which you guys know I don't like to do.
He gets a nosebleed after 20.
Yeah, just not my style, but it's what's got to be done here. And it's been a fun learning process, actually. I've snuck out quite a bit this year with Kim just for a couple hours here and there, and put the live scope to work, and kind of honed a couple of techniques that I just never really I never really thought that I would enjoy, and it's enjoyable in a different way. So yeah, I do want to get out there and take advantage of the fact that they're all in these areas now. And there's some giants in Candlewood.
That's an understatement. There's some big fish in there.
Yeah.
So one question about Candlewood, and let's get into talking about everything else that you're doing and planning on doing. Are they drawing that down this winter?
Yeah, they usually draw it down, at least in the years that I've been here, like 5 years. They draw it down every year, and they rotate, whether it's kind of a shallow, moderate, or deep drawdown. And I think they kind of generally put it under the guise if people need to do dock and rock wall repairs and things like that. But they've made it abundantly clear that they also do deep drawdowns to try and kill the milfoil. Yep. And as I'm sure you guys have heard from various people, me included, the milfoil about 2 years ago just vanished. Something very weird happened, and they've been drawing the lake down for I've seen it 10 foot low. I think the record they drew it down was like almost 11 2 or 3 years ago, and the milfoil came back better than ever the year after that, and then it just vanished 2 years ago, and it comes back now in the fall. It's super bizarre.
That is
strange. The lake authority, we won't go there, but their biologists, they don't really know what's going on. They're sending water testing samples. They're trying to figure it out, and it is growing, but it starts growing in like August and September, and you can find some good patches in like October. It's just bizarre, and it's not at all like it was. But there's still plenty of big fish in the lake, but it's, I think the smallmouth fishery is just going to get more and more incredible, but it does concern. I mean, everything needs the grass, but the largemouth, I caught a couple big ones this year, but it felt like around July, they just, at least the way that I used to fish for them, they just weren't doing that. And I'm sure that's got something to do with the grass, but
yeah,
but I've only known this lake for 5 years, so I've still got a lot to learn. But yeah, anyways,
I feel like everywhere this year has just been very off from past years.
Or different, I mean, I'm sure somebody's catching them.
Oh yeah.
There's always somebody.
Yeah, I mean, so Alec says the grass carp took care of the weeds. You know what? I think that people use the carp as a scapegoat, and I think that the carp have something to do with it. But again, the grass carp population was so extreme like 3 or 4 years ago and there was beautiful milfoil beds and a lake the size of Candlewood, which is like, I think 11 or 12 north to south miles long with various arms. You know, the grass carp don't all of a sudden explode in population to where they just kill I mean, the grass was dying from the roots up. And I've spoken with like one or two guys that I've gotten to know here that have a long history with the lake. One of them actually has a relationship with the state. I think he works for the state part-time. And he was suggesting that it's something called, I guess, like Northeast disease, I think, something like that. But the long and short of it is, I guess something weird happened with milfoil in a huge water body in New England or one of the big river systems a little south of us here. And it was the same thing. It dies from the roots up. And so people blame the carp, but like I've seen this beautiful, healthy milfoil just like floating with root structures that are dying, and like the rot starts from the bottom up. And it's not, I don't care what anybody says. It's not the carp. I mean, the carp have something to do with it. They're not helpful, which is why the state has got this initiative now to where I think they're like, I forget if they were sponsoring fisheries or carp derbies or allowing you to kill them. I forget what the deal was. Don't take my word for it. You'll get a fine. But, you know, I think the attitude has changed. The state now realizes they fucked up a little as far as stocking these sterile grass carp, which is never a good idea.
No. I've yet
not.
to see where that was a good idea.
Dude, you know, like with Jody, there's people that, you know, up on Bomas, you know, there's a couple fisheries up there where you guys have like vehement stewards for the grass. And I tried to send messages to the lake authority and, you know, kind of be a little aggressive about my approach. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is the most mismanaged, most valuable fishery in the state. Like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And they've been like pretty good about actually responding, you know, objectively and intelligently and being like, yeah, we're trying. We don't know. Like, we're testing. The water's not showing any signs of biological difference. There's no new, like, you know, chemical spike. So dude, it's a weird deal. But I know the smallmouth seem to be just getting, you know, giant. I mean, there's, like I said, there's always guys that go out and catch giants, but there's been, I don't know. I saw a lot. I saw a lot of really big smallmouth this year. Now, maybe that's just because I was fishing for them differently, you know, like I was saying. But yeah, we'll see what happens. M6, they're pushing for bow fishing of the carp. That would be amazing. Honestly, I'd like to go trap fishing for them. 17 pound fluoro or some big old braid, a little red eye shad, some giant trebles. You can see them clear as day on scope. I mean, you can't mistake them. You know, there's like always, you know, 7 to like 15 of them. And they just, you know, if it's a bass, it ain't something I've ever seen. You know, the carp are pretty easy to spot. I just don't know the regulations, nor do I have the time to go out there and be like, I'm going to go carp hunting today. No, I go out in the lake for 4 hours. I want to catch a big bass.
Yep.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what if it's a Pro XS4 and you chip the skeg. I didn't chip the skeg. It's these little. Anyways, I don't want to get into my personal issues. But thank you for that insight. Thankfully, yeah, it's not on the skeg. It's underneath. There's these two little metal brackets attached by like coated wire or chain, and they screw up into the housing, the pneumatic, the trim housing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, it's this, honestly, excuse my language, I don't even know what it is. It looks like some shit composite that you could like break with a ball peen hammer, which, you know, don't get me started on manufacturing issues the last 3 years.
Oh, dude.
Dude, I know so many people with brand new boats and engines that are like out of commission for months. And if that were me, whoever I bought that boat from would be like, oh my God, get this fucking guy off my doorstep, because I would literally be there and be like, you're fucking fixing this for $80,000, $100,000, whatever it is. I mean,
seriously.
Anyways, hopefully my issue is minor and I can just plug up this area of the housing I busted off some JB Weld, call it a day. But anyways,
from experience this last week, JB Weld doesn't really hold much.
I don't even want to ask.
I sent Sean the video.
Yeah, he's seen some stuff where he has. I can tell you that.
Did you try and make a repair on like a boat or a vehicle or a dirt bike or something, Andrew?
It was a trolling motor, and we just ordered a whole new knuckle for Ghost. So,
because that JB Weld job was
Yeah.
not doing the work.
No, I didn't do it.
Okay, well that's interesting. Well,
Yeah.
fortunately, my landlord owns the. He's like a wizard, and he can rebuild outboards with his eyes closed. But he doesn't like the new stuff. This guy, he could buy whatever he wants. He's like, dude. He's like, you should have gotten a. What did he tell me? He's like, you should have gotten a carbed 225. Like he can. He's like, dude, you can take these apart and fix them now. You don't have to go be told that you need to wait, 4 months for a part that the tech doesn't even know how to diagnose because everything is now electronically controlled and diagnosed. And so anyways, I'm not complaining. I love the engine. It's been a great engine, but man, there's been a couple things that have just broken on it where I'm like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like what is this made out of like a piece of plastic? Like,
Right.
anyways,
I
digress.
I could wax eloquent being in a manufacturing heavy position industry about the lack of quality control, not from us, just from the vendors we deal with since COVID.
It's a weird time.
I really hope the quality comes back across the board, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right, but I didn't even realize it's almost 8:30. So before we really fully get started, for everybody that is here joining us tonight, thank you very much as always. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already yet, please drop a like on the stream, and let's get into it. So, Derek, you have recently released a couple of new things this year. But let's talk about the two newest things. Both of them that haven't quite released yet, but they are coming up very fast here. Both the Swimbait sled and the Superfly jig.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited about these. I think I sent you the. I got
the Superfly jig drawing pulled up. I'm gonna try and add.
So this is the
other one again.
This is like the final. Well, I say final. It's the final rough cut. It's a quick prototype. It's not a production mold that this head comes from, but this is that's the sled right there. And so I've been playing with this thing for probably like 2 months now when I have the ability to get out and just dragging it around rocks and hard bottom, kind of seeing how it does. And it's cool because it's like a football jig you would never use to swim, and with swim baits, sometimes that football jig, depending on where the line tie is, it actually, it hangs it up and flips it over, and it just kind of makes it go wonky. So this just kind of keeps these things keeled and kind of gives you more of like a bump and glide instead of like hanging up, pulling it over, and then popping when you finally kind of, when you're fishing right and you're fishing where they are down deep when they're there, you lose a lot of shit. And, so this is kind of our attempt to, I would say bridge the gap between making a better football head for swim bait fishing and also being able to just fish this open water. So, oh, cool. I hate seeing myself.
I know, but I'm doing it for the bait, not for you. You're fine.
I don't care, dude. I've been battling the shits on and off for like 2 days. I'll just be honest. So I'm pale. I'm tired.
You look fine. But now you can better show off that head.
Yeah, so this is our slow flow actually, which is on this head right here. But anyways, this product is going to be really, really cool. I think we're going to do really well with this because as you know, in this region, everybody at some point everybody is throwing a little swim bait on a ball head or a football head to catch big smallmouth and largemouth because all of our fisheries in general are mixed bag lakes. But
Yep.
yeah. So rest in peace to the toilet bowl. Yeah. Fortunately, I had no other symptoms, and I tested for COVID because mostly my wife wanted me to make sure that I didn't, God forbid my little 4.5, almost 5-year-old got what I got. I'd feel so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's all good. But yeah, it's been a fun day and a half. But
do we talk about?
You want to talk about it, Andrew?
No, Taco Bell.
Yeah, dude. I never got into Taco Bell, but from what I've heard, the cliche, I think it might have even been worse than the T-Bell.
I don't know. They get pretty bad.
Yeah, Jason. It was. Believe me, I went crazy today eating though. Like in the last hour and a half, I think I've drank like a gallon of coconut water, like a vat of like homemade chicken noodle soup that Kim made.
Jesus.
Like
Ooh.
literally, I think I ate like 3.5 bowls, like big bowls.
Jesus.
Like I can eat, dude. For a little guy, like I eat like 5,000 calories a day.
It's like the
And,
two of you. Come on. I eat 2,000 calories. I gain 20 pounds.
Yeah, Andrew
two
and I have
eat-
the same genetics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dad?
dude. Yep. Yeah. So Kevin, the sled is not going to have eyes. This is a product where, one thing that always bothered me, for better or worse, ultimately I get to make the decisions on what the product ends up like. I do, try and make as many phone calls and send samples and do what I can to get appropriate feedback. But, a lot of people are going to be using swim baits that already have eyes on this. And I've just always hated like that double eye look. Like, I know it's probably,
I'm right there with you. I can't stand it. It looks weird.
yeah, dude, and I know that like, oh, sorry.
Sound
The
like
sound machine just went on, which I think is my wife's way of telling me to shut the fuck up a little bit. My daughter's probably going to sleep soon, but we're good. I'm out here in my living room, as you can see, because it's like the farthest from her room. But hold on one second.
I like the deer.
Test. Yeah, that's a big one I shot when I lived in Long Island.
Oh.
And here's another real big one. That Euro mount up there.
Dang.
But yeah, those were the days when I hated that place. But the bucks were, the deer are just unbelievable there. They just get giant. But anyway, so the swim bait sled will not have eyes for that reason. And the other reason is because the reality is we know guys are going to lose a lot of these. So we didn't want to increase production costs for something that wasn't like absolutely essential. The reality is, we
That
wanted to
head's
keep this.
buried.
Say that again, Andrew?
That head's going to be buried, and the only thing they're going to see is a swim bait. So there's really
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The head's so no, it won't have eyes. And I think that, like, again, that double eye look always bothered me. And the reality is, Mega Bass makes a beautiful swim bait. There's one or two JDM swim baits that guys use. Fish Arrow makes one. Depths makes one. There's a couple that, I just know enough people and I speak to enough people that I just know what guys are going to be using on this product. So we left eyes out. It also saved a couple pennies in production cost from an assembly standpoint and from the perspective of the actual eyes. So yeah, we're going to leave the eyes out, and it's going to be available in quite a bunch of variants, actually. We're going to have this thing in, sorry, I'm like on my couch and my foot's falling asleep here.
You're good.
So we're going to have a 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 in 4 different colors plus raw, which that was a decision made today, actually, after talking it out. Talk it out. Always got to talk it out. And the hook in this is something that's very nuanceful, but something I think is really important. We're going to be selling these all over the country. Fortunately, we're finally kind of transcending the regional brand vibe a little bit, and our customers are all over the place, and guys are going to want to use casting gear. So, this hook is a BKK, and it's essentially the same hook that's in our sniper jig,
Yes,
but a slightly heavier wire. But
even better.
The hook is so sharp. I mean, you can see this thing has been used and abused, and I just touched it to the finger. It's the hooks that these guys produce. Damn it, my leg is asleep. Give me a second.
No, dude, everything that BKK.
Oh, stomp, please.
It's just so frustrating.
Everything that BKK makes is amazing. Those hooks are friggin' incredible. If you've got it, and the thing about that sniper hook too, like the hook that you have on the sniper, dude, that's a stout hook. And like I know we can bend it out every once in a while, but it doesn't happen often. I mean, it's rare, and
it is.
I think a lot of people might be surprised to know that if they didn't already know this, we almost exclusively throw all of our snipers on casting rods, straight fluoro.
A lot of guys
And
do that. Yeah.
we don't like. It's rare that we bend them out in the I mean, like we bend them out on rocks, pulling them free, not bending them out on fish. And
No,
even
never.
still, I can take it. I just bend it straight back, and if I need to, I file the hook point a little bit. And dude, I
Yeah,
still
you
stick
can
fish
work
and
on 'em.
stick them hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But this
I mean,
hook, so
I
So-
sent you. Oh yeah, go.
no, dude. Go ahead, man. I don't.
Oh, I was
mean
gonna
to-
say, I remember sending you the picture of that sniper from our trip to
Oh,
Champlain earlier
man.
this year, where dude, I like wore off half the back of that head.
I
I kept that one jig all day on Champlain. I crushed so many fish on it.
That's sick.
Hook was still perfect.
I started like 2 hours after him throwing the sniper, and by the end of the day, we were just like comparing how bad they were beat up. It was so.
I can't believe you guys managed to keep them. I lose them. Sometimes I lose them in like areas where I'm like, what the fuck? Like as soon as I'm like, I should have thrown a dozer. That's actually something cool. So the baby dozer, I actually just cut the purchase order. The dozer is going to come in.
I can't unsee it now.
You guys are dicks.
Hey, that's a compliment. Come on.
No, yeah, hey, I like that dude, so it's all good. But yeah, so the baby dozer is coming in a 1/4. Sean, I can see you're highly entertained by that.
Sorry. Well, so you said same hook as the sniper, but a smidge thicker, but same
It's
size,
the
like 2-aught?
same exact diameter. I mean, the hook specifications besides the diameter of the wire are the same. So, yeah.
So even like a
actually,
2.5-inch swim bait is gonna be fine on that.
Well, so this is a 2.85, and that's a 1/2 ounce sled.
Dude, you can put a 2-inch swim bait on that.
Yeah, and this is actually the 2.0, and we're going to offer it in a 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0.
Yes.
And the reality is, we should introduce it in a 4.0 and a 5.0 because guys down south that are throwing 5-inch, like, the classic hand-poured swim baits that a lot of guys are throwing them, like Gunnersville and some of those like southern impoundments and like river systems and stuff like that. They're gonna I just know that this product is, but I just don't have the capital to build and inventory 60 SKUs for one product line,
Right.
So for now it's already going to be, what's the permutation there? We're going to have 4 colors, 3 hook variations, and 4 sizes.
48.
Like 48, right? Anyway,
Yep.
slice it. So yeah. But anyways, that's a swim bait sled. We're going to sell them 2 per pack. And this thing it should be in production by next week.
Nice.
If we can get the hooks released from the factory in time. But yeah, so this is coming for early spring for sure. Like I would say actually closer to like end of January. I'd love to
you gonna have them for the New England show?
I really want to have them for the New England show. This fucking leg, dude. I think I'm just dehydrated.
Yeah, I
like
guarantee it.
Yeah. I forgot my Powerade.
There's a bottle of water behind you.
Get it.
Just saying,
So Jason asked lead or tungsten, but I'm guaranteeing that's lead, correct?
Yeah, so Jason, this is going to be lead because, again, this product is like, I always try and think of like truly like what is best for the consumer that buys our product. And in this case, I think I could see a tungsten version, but when you're dragging stuff through like rocky bottom where this is really meant to pull like a little swim bait, we just decided to go with lead because the cost variance is insane. As you guys all know and can assume. I could give you, percentages, but it's irrelevant. The goal is to sell 2 packs of these. And Alec, that's great.
I'm leaving that there the rest of the night.
That's a good comment. So no, it's going to be made. It's going to be made in lead. We probably won't. We don't deal with like the bismuth and stuff like that. But tungsten compound would be something that we would run this in just for a non-lead option. But again, out of the gate, this is just a pound the grabby rock bottom, and you're going to lose a shitload, but it's still going to be the best tool for the job. And by the way, probably one of the more affordable heads out there. I mean, you can go buy like a low quality, low hook head for cheaper, but you know, ballpark math, I'd like to hit a retail price for a 2-pack of about $2.99.
Oh wow,
That's
these.
a great deal in my opinion.
Yeah, $2.99 to $3.99. Can you make it look like and test like tungsten for New Hampshire? I don't quite know what you mean, but
all I'll say about that is,
oh yeah, I see
fishing
what you
game
mean.
doesn't have the resources to check your tackle, boys.
Yeah,
Throw
if they
what
knew
you
they
want.
could just push their fingernail into lead, and you can't do that with compound or pure tungsten, that would be a trick. But anyways, you guys do you.
powder coat them.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna have, like I said, 4 colors in this. So this product is like not the most exciting thing that we have, but I'm incredibly excited for this because we need a head. You know what I mean? It's just gonna get a lot of play. So yeah, that's the Swimbait sled, and I sent you that graphic. I actually.
I can't get it. Actually, you know what? Hang on. There might be.
You don't even, dude.
Do this.
Don't make more work for yourself.
No, I can do this. Where's my folder? Where's my mouse?
So if you didn't know,
I got
he's
4
looking
monitors.
over 240-inch 2 TVs.
I can kind of show you
behind that.
the actually had to rework this keel like 2 different times because you know, when it comes out, there's just a teeny tiny bit of shrinkage and a teeny tiny bit of warpage. And at first I thought that was the reason, but ultimately this thing had to fit most of the good little swim baits on the market. So we went through and basically confirmed fit across like 7 different popular finesse swim baits that, you know, the derby guys are using. And so we finally arrived at kind of like the perfect gap right down in here.
Oh yeah, I like that hook.
To where, yeah, it doesn't, you know, it's not going to cause the chinnier swim bait to jam into the keel and want to turn and get wonky. And then we've got the double wire to keep the swim bait from turning on the hook. Because if you only use a single wire,
I like that.
You know, if you're not fishing a swim bait and it's a single wire keeper on, you know, a different product like a bottom jig that just got to hold a crawl, that's fine. But a swim bait, if that thing turns sideways on the hook, you know, you're
Yes.
it's just gonna go side. It's not gonna. Oh yeah, there you go, dude. You're such a tech wizard.
I try. It's a pain in the ass to get that there, but here we go. We got it.
Yeah, I know. This is like definitely the juice is not worth the squeeze, but yeah, you can see how in the old version there, that was like that was actually the second version. You're talking about, you know, we had to go back and make the change over. Essentially, I think it was like 1 millimeter. That actually might even be a fraction of a millimeter that we dropped that keel. You can see in the lower left part of that graphic, you know, that green showing through the blue. That's the variance that we went back and made, you know, weird shit's going on down in the woods. I see lights, but yeah, so, you know, this product, as simple as it may look, you know, anytime you do something new, it's worth it to kind of think it through. And so this thing should be really quite perfect for just about all of the swim baits that you'd want to throw, for that kind of slow winding and kind of pulling it off the rock. And that's, you know, you're fishing. Hopefully a lot of guys are, I mean, I know we're selling a lot of these little 2.85 slow flows, but the Fat Impact, the Easy Shiner, the Slow Flow, 1 or 2 Megabass products, 1 or 2 Fish Arrow products, they all fit pretty darn snug. So yeah, I think Anthony, it's funny. That's funny. Yeah, Anthony.
Oh my god, that's so good.
This guy's ripe with the comments. I like it.
Well, it's just in case everybody's wondering what the hell we're laughing at. There you go.
And then the other one too. 'Tis the season for 10 inches of clothing, 3 inches of pecker.
Hey man, the struggle's real for all of us when we got to pee off the back of the boat in the middle of the winter.
It takes me like 5 minutes to get that thing out.
Dude, as I get older, I just like it takes so long when it's cold. Like I'm gonna try and fish with J&J this weekend. By the time I get it out, I'm like already pissing in my pants. I'm just like, whatever, it's warm.
It's the worst when you finally get to it and your hands are frozen. It's like ah! Try to rip it out as fast as possible.
Yep. So, anyways, that is the Swimbait sled. This is a cool little deal. I'm excited about it, and yeah, it's a pretty big product launch. I mean, you know, our contract manufacturer we have an awesome relationship with, but you know, we have to bring in a lot of these times 48 variants, so it's a pretty big product launch. And fortunately, we've got a couple of our bigger retailers are already on board and are excited about it and kind of committed to everything. So it's fine.
So where are you going to be able to find them? Because that's what Leo was asking. Not just online, but especially kind of regionally / local dealers around here. Like,
well, I would imagine
Ben's will probably put in an order for them.
Yeah, I think Ben's would. I have, you know, we'll talk to them, but Ben's they know what to carry. So I think there's probably a couple sizes that they should carry. I would probably insist and offer them to swap out maybe something that isn't working for them. So I would assume Ben's would probably have some of your key sizes and colors, you know, locally. And then Bounty Hunter here in Connecticut, they're an awesome retailer. You know, Berkshire Bass, they're another retailer. And then, you know, some of the bigger .com retailers will have them. We'll have them on our site. I'd love to have some of these for the expo. I really would. I think it's very realistic to at least have the raw heads. But I don't know. I mean, production time's pretty quick, pretty darn quick on these. It's the mold building and, you know, the tooling and the powder coating. I mean, there's other things than just, oh, okay, molds are done, let's run them and ship them. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, yeah. So, anyways, that's this dude, and you know, the slow flow is new for us as well. This is the 2.85, an alewife. And this is our top selling SKU in that product line, 2.85 alewife, followed closely by Pearl Gold Flash and Goby. So yeah, Berkshire Bass.
You know, it's funny. I was looking at that Pearl Flash. Sorry, the Pearl what Flash?
Pearl. I know.
Pearl Flash.
Retailers actually have it mislisted. It's Pearl Gold Flash.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that color.
So I was looking at that last night and that Goby color because I had phenomenal luck with the slow flow this year, and the last 2 trips out I couldn't get them to bite it. Dude, I went through I have almost every color that you offer in both sizes.
What are we missing?
I made a massacre of my boat, and so I went through and out and looking at my Kitex, and I had a rainbow shad. So it's just a little bit lighter like the whole way through. And It was like, dude, it was like fucking flipping a switch. I couldn't keep the fish off. Was it a
3.3? Was it a bigger size?
Yeah, slightly bigger, 3.3. So in between the sizes, but
yeah,
it was
we need a 3.3.
But I went to 2.8 when I ran out of my 3.3, and they were still eating it just fine. It came down to the color because I even picked up another slow flow after that because I was like, okay, I know they're feeding on smelt though, so I picked up the alewife again.
Cool color.
And I was like, okay, this is the one time that I couldn't get the slow flow to get bit, but so I was looking at the other colors. I was like, you know what? I bet you that pearl actually would probably work just fine. It's the one color I don't have, that and the Goby. So I get an order in.
Dude, we'll talk about that.
Just send me a bunch. 2.85s, please. Just send them all up. They're gonna get used all winter.
I'll send you guys some for sure. I will.
You should make 4-inch.
Yeah,
Andrew wants the big
or
boy.
5. Or 5.
Yeah, I think
go the other way. Make it 2-inch.
I think we're gonna get settled into the 3.25. I've had that in my mind for like since we brought out the 3.8, and I was like, fuck.
4.25.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, if you add that tweener size, like
I know
you've got everything.
Yeah.
And then from there, the only thing I'm gonna disagree with Andrew. I would think go smaller. I think if you had a 2-inch, only because it's as sexy as the bigger bait is. You've already got your Miyagi, you got the creep, but there's not a lot of really good options like that in that really tiny size and that like right around like the 2 to 2.5 inch size, man. Like,
I think the 2-inch on like an Okashira or something like that would be.
Oh,
Yeah.
or like 2 1/4.
Ooh.
Two or
Yeah,
two
I
and a
mean,
quarter.
we could go
That'd be-
wild with
that'd be
this, but the
dirty.
reality is,
1.5.
this is that's a tiny bait.
It is.
I mean, but I think there's a place for that, like 2-inch size, 2.1. But
Hey, I
anyway,
deal with it every day. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
it's funny,
I get
Andrew.
a 2-inch and call it just the tip.
I know I saw that. It was funny. But anyways, so the other thing we got going is the Superfly, and that is something that people have been like, you got to make a hair jig, you got to make a hair jig, and I've kind of been thinking about it for 2 years, but I never threw a lot of hair jigs, and so it's taken me a long time to finally kind of commit to what the thing needs to be. And
I
I'm
got that image
very
fired
excited
up for you.
I just.
Oh yeah, you have that
my
image
own.
too. Yeah, no,
Bam.
yeah. So, the cool thing about this is like if you talk again, I've talked to buyers and a lot of guys that are winning, some of the big events here regionally and out in the Midwest, and fortunately, some of these guys have given me some insight and opinion, and so the head is not just for. What you see here, by the way, is we're going to add a 3/16 ounce size. So 1/8 is not going to be the heaviest.
Nice.
But,
Good.
here especially, and I don't know how you guys are fishing them, but a lot of guys are fishing them closer to the bottom as opposed to kind of just like a drift or kind of like floating fall. Like a lot of guys in the Midwest will throw them on like, flats. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be just a cold water thing. So it's like this little simple product really did have to satisfy like a lot more than just one technique, which kind of always annoyed me because I was like, this should be such a fucking easy item. And it's not. It was not an easy item actually at all. But I'm extremely excited about the thing. We went through a couple of iterations on it. You see the drawings here. We had to scale the hub. We made it as long as possible just to give some room to tie. We actually, serrated that hub a little bit so that, it holds thread and hair better and it doesn't just pull out quickly. We've got a little tiny bait keeper on there for guys that want to put a stinky little piece of plastic on there for some casting distance or just some scent. A lot of guys, yeah. So, and we've actually got those tiny little 3 millimeter matte black eyes. It's, some of that is aesthetic, but the reality is, anything that these hair jigs are trying to mimic, I guess except kind of a leech, but at that point it's all black anyways, the product. So they all, there's little things that we added to this to make it what, the goal is to be, kind of the best mass produced hair jig out there. And I don't know if it will or won't be yet. We're still working through some tying strategies for the factory and things like that. Because again, this is going to be tied abroad so that we can keep the price reasonable for guys and still provide what I hope to be the absolute best product, within the segment, really. And so what you're seeing there is the drawings are where we are. That's a done deal. And this is going to carry the same hook that's in the sniper, same exact hook, not the heavier wire, the sniper hook, in a size 1. And the 3/16 we may go up to a 1/0, but most likely, I think we're going to stay with 1 to check out a couple of fitment drawings and stuff first. But yeah, so this one's going to be really exciting. Currently, there's 4 patterns plus a synthetic pattern or craft pattern. And I'll talk to you guys when I have some samples to share and actual tied up finished factory samples, and get some to you hopefully like soonish to take gander at. And hopefully you don't have ice.
Yeah. I've fallen in love with hair jigs recently, and they're so good.
Did you see that he's going to be offering naked heads so you can tie them yourself now too, Andrew?
Yeah, we're gonna sell these in 2 packs as well. And I think the price is going to be extremely reasonable. I think it's going to attract a lot of tires.
I have a lot of marabou.
Nice.
I literally have an entire drawer on my desk right here full of it.
Many turkeys will die in the making of these hair jigs. No, that's not true. They're already slaughtered. Yeah. So these will. Jim asks. Thanks, Mike. Kevin, you the man. I love these comments. I'm so ADD. I'm getting like very sidetracked right now.
Dude, our chat is always amazing. Even on nights we don't get to interact with them, when we have a guest on, we're just like honed in on the guest. Chat never fails us.
Yeah. Travis's live stream is insane with the shit that goes on there. It's funny. So this is very similar. I like it.
Good.
But yeah, Jim, these are going to be available just in the heads, sold as 2-packs. So you will be able to tie your own.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, this little dude is very exciting because we need it. The brand is rooted here, and pretty much everything that comes out from us moving forward is going to be rooted in how a lot of the guys are fishing here in this region and over into the Midwest, because there's a lot of crossover, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have similar fisheries, right? Like, you go to Texas, they have largemouth, but mostly it's just their giant strain of Texas largies. Excuse me, I think I said smallmouth. What I meant to say was Texas has smallmouth, but it's different. You guys know what I mean. It's like, you're not going to Okeechobee and throw in a 16th-ounce hair jig. I mean, some intrepid guys probably are. Yeah, some guys probably are. But so the hair jig's coming, and it's been a long time. Kevin, these hair jigs are tungsten compound. And the reason we chose tungsten compound is because it's fucking leg.
It's because of this fucking leg.
So the tungsten compound is lead-free, which satisfies a lot of requirements. And it's also a little bit harder. The density is actually pretty similar to lead. It's only slightly denser, which I don't think a lot of people know. If you look at a lot of branded tungsten jigs, a lot of the Japanese imported branded tungsten jigs, look close because, they're often tungsten compound, which is a totally different thing than pure tungsten, which is, 33 to 35%, depending on the manufacturer's claim, more dense than a traditional lead or lead compound. But you can't make, if you want to make a 16th or a 3/32 or even an 1/8 ounce true 97% tungsten hair jig, there's a couple of issues. Firstly, you'd have to use a size 5 hook so that it didn't just look absurd and you didn't have a shank extending like 1/10 of an inch out. It's the material is a great material for certain things, but I mean, the bass angler wants a specific hook, and the reality is that teeny tiny tungsten head, there's not a lot of benefit in a hair jig. So we chose tungsten compound to actually keep more material in the head so that we could extend that collar, or hub as I like to call it, so that you can actually have room to tie. And it's just a little bit bigger so the hook sits down in the head properly. If you look at the drawings, I'm a big fan of aesthetics. I just don't like when shit looks cheesy. And so, that was the least concern, but it is a beneficial factor when you're looking at marketing something. But it just so happened to be the best material for the job because it's lead-free. It's a little bit harder than lead, so it's a little bit, tiny bit smaller. But the reality is, if you're going to give the scope argument, it's not true, because scope, that sonar relies not only on density of the object, but also size of the object. So, and it goes both ways, the density thing too. So, I think there's a lot of misnomers, misconceptions, maybe is the better word, with the technology that's out there now. So, I think the tungsten compound is a perfect choice for this, because we're going to sell a lot of these in this region and over into the Midwest. And some of those states are lead-free states. Technically, a lot of guys do abide by that, which obviously, I respect. So tungsten compound is what these things are going to, what do the orange slices do, Anthony?
Yeah, even that one baffled me.
I'm waiting for it.
Used to eat them at halftime at football games. Maybe.
Yeah, the collar, and so Anthony, you bring up another point. If you use tungsten and you get up to like an 1/8 ounce, size or a 3/16, you could technically, you can only move so much material along the shank. I'm not going to get into how pure tungsten's manufactured, but it's a little tricky. It's actually a little less reliable. But again, I'm not going to go there. But you don't like I don't want that thing to just dart straight down. Like a lot of guys. Again, this is where I had to spend like 2 years kind of talking to people, and trial and error on my own. Which I don't like throwing these things. I just know you have to sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'd be lying if I said that I was out there throwing a hair jig every day, because I'm not. I mean, I don't fish every day. I barely get to fish once a month. But, the head design is something that a lot was taken into account on. And spreading that material out properly is one of those things that that was thought of. And so was the shape of the head. It's kind of in between a ball and a darter and a football. So the guys that wanted to kind of drag these things and bump them just off bottom and almost kill it. Like guys fish these hair jigs in many different ways, and it's huge, especially here. And, I think that the way that we have this thing laid out is pretty intentional. And I think from the feedback we've gotten, we shared a post on social media the other day, and the amount of messages we got, and comments on the post. And then we put up a little survey to try and understand if we should add another size, stuff like that. I'm very excited about this product. There's also not much competition. I mean, there's a lot of local tires that do a phenomenal job, which is why we're going to offer these in 2-packs. But, my goal is to also ensure that our factory is able to produce something to the degree of quality that, guys that would ordinarily maybe contract somebody to make it. I don't want to take that business necessarily, but I want to give people a commercially available option that they can just go to their retailer and be like, okay, I've got that. I don't need to buy this with a hook that bends out on 4-pound mono. I mean, some of this production stuff out there is just, it's just not stuff that a lot of guys would prefer to use. And so there's only so much availability of the 1 or 2 products out there that, do fit that need for a premium hook, a properly balanced and designed head, and, a good tie. So, and I'm also hoping we can hit a price point of about $4.99, $3.99 for one of our finished tungsten compound hair jigs. So anyways,
is that each?
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit $3.99. And yeah, Jim, if you look at if you can't see a front angle on this, Jim, but the weight is distributed such that it's not keeled in the way that this sled is keeled. But yes, it's going to control that as much as a jig that weighs next to nothing can. Varying on retrieval speed and wind and everything else that that fucks up your lure as you're trying to retrieve it beautifully, looking down at the screen. I hate to say, but yeah. So I do think that's been considered. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper than a very. Yeah, Kevin. We'll see what happens. Again, price here is secondary to making a beautiful product that guys that know want to use. But I'm a value conscious consumer. I've just been raised that way. And I also don't work. We have one distributor, and one of these days we should talk about the business of this industry, because my God.
Dude, I'd be very happy to do a specific episode on that.
Yeah, I have to watch myself, because I just have to watch myself. But fuck, we have a distributor that we do. We are very happy to be working with, and our business is growing with them. But we do sell directly to quite a few of the retailers that are out there. I keep overhead extremely low. Our shop / warehouse is very. It's a 6 space, but it's it's smaller than people would think, and my office is kind of tucked away. That's a lie. I did just lease a whole new office, and I was like, why am I doing this? So I actually just called my landlord. I was like, dude, this has been nice, but I don't really need this. So Actually this week I'm moving all my office and everything. We're moving it all back into the shop space. But my point is, I don't, we keep margin very reasonable. And, the amount of fluff that exists in a lot of products out there is just bullshit. Like, you are literally you're paying for a marketing budget. And that's true across all products. I mean, look at Prada. They're selling t-shirts for, I don't own a single piece of Prada, nor would I ever. But I would imagine they're selling t-shirts for $200 a unit. And even if it's Pima cotton and it's sourced beautifully, the cost on that is about $4. So it exists everywhere. But the reality is, in the fishing industry, there's way too much hat and not enough cattle. And I got that term from my old boss in a different life. And I just hate that. And so we just try and make shit that guys are like, yep, that's what I want. Oh, and what's the price on that? And so hopefully this is where we fall with the hair jig. So, I'm sorry if that was a droning answer, but
when we went up to Champlain for the Candlewood Kids Camp, I went and bought a bunch of hair jigs from Dick's Sporting Goods. And I think they were, take it down. There you go.
That's definitely what Anthony was talking about when he was mentioning the oranges. My daughter, go ahead.
$8 or $9 a piece.
Dude, they were not cheap. And I mean, granted, that's just a store that doesn't have the best prices anyway, but damn.
And a very well-known brand, too.
So. Oh, I mean, I know who you're talking about. And I know, I also know, anyways, they make a really good product. And, I think that it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. That's all I care about, is that people that like our brand are just going to, I think, be like, yep, that's in line with what I've come to expect,
I don't know how anyone couldn't like your brand. Prices are right. Product's amazing.
Believe
Color
me.
choices are friggin' mint.
I mean, we've got a long way to go, but, there's people that don't like every brand, especially in this industry, because one thing I've learned is, and this is some real shit, people generally all enjoy being part of something until, things move forward and, you're not pro staff. It's like, get the fuck over it, man. Like, that is not what this brand is about. Like, if you need to be pro staff to fish a product, go buy somebody else's stuff. And I mean that, and I don't mean that in an insulting way, but I mean it in like there's one or two brands 4 or 5 years ago that created a reliance and an expectation on pro staff. And I'm not going to mention their names. And, I always jokingly referred to it as revenue creation team. That's just not how we play ball. And, the reality is, I hate being like, I'm sorry, I can't give you a discount. And it's like, you know what? That's one of many reasons that people don't like a cool little brand. And I get it. It's fine. Everybody's not going to love you, but we try, you know what I mean? And that's all I can do. So anyways, Gators Adventures, big industry, small circle. That's right.
Damn right.
Yeah. And believe me, it's really funny. We just hit top set. We're doing really well with a couple products through several retailers. And, these chain stores, I don't think that I'd even necessarily be able to, or at this point, months later after the discussion that I had, would want to sell to certain chain stores. But I don't think that they understand, you want to talk about a small circle. The buyers at these chain stores, they're having the same conversations with the same industry pros who work with the same couple of brand umbrellas that they were having 6 years ago. And their categories are tanking. Do you think that they would think to maybe explore what's actually happening in the industry? No, because the circle's small, man. The circle's small. And if, so-and-so is not happy and you don't scratch this person's back and that person doesn't get $1 a unit. And it's just honestly one of the things that keeps me like doing this. Like for you guys know, for 5 years, I pretty much reinvested everything in this. Fortunately, my wife was able to, and I never hide from this fact because she's as responsible for this business as I am at this point. And I just love that it feels like we can do this without any of that. And if that is true and we can continue to do what we're doing, it's just, that's part of the thing that drives me, is just clicking with the guys that I care to click to. And, it feels, bounty hunters, bait and tackle is one of them. I'm not sure what drop means by that, but bounty hunters is awesome. Bounty hunters,
I think that carries you.
Yeah, bounty hunters carries. They sell a lot of our stuff for an independent retailer, and they have done unbelievable stuff with their store. Yeah, Anthony, I shouldn't be saying this. Anthony, if you want to see, I should. I'm not even going to go here right now. I'm just not.
We can take it offline after the stream's over. I'll just shut it down. Nobody else can hear it. Just be the three of us.
Yeah. Devin and Vicky. Vicky. So Vic hates being called Vicky, by the way, just so you know that, because the first time I went in there, I accidentally was like, "What's up, Vicky?" And she kind of was like, she's like, "Really, dude? Like Victoria or Vic?" And so now I like occasionally like mess with her. I'm like, "Hey," I don't even think she caught it last time. I was like, "Hey, Vicky." And I don't think she caught it.
Hey, Vicky.
They're good people, and they know what, again, they're local. They're 15 minutes from me. So like, I'm speaking about them in this way because they are like, on the occasion that I do get out to fish, like I do buy stuff from them, and they know what you need, and they're doing it right. Like their shop it's sick. It's a legit, pro shop, like the way that they're supposed to be run. And so yeah, man, that's those customers like that. I say customer because they're a customer of Beast Coast. They're awesome. So yeah, bounty hunters is sick. Sorry, I'm loving the comments. Yeah, I mean, some of these big brands. This is all I'll say. If you do a little digging, some of these big brands are having trouble paying their bills. And I don't wish that upon any business, because ultimately it impacts the people that are working there, and the people that own these entities financially, they don't give a fuck. And so, they care about shareholders and investors. And we'll see how it plays out, man. These big brands are giant, and they got there because they do generally make good stuff, and they own the marketing machine. But I think the marketing machine is changing and eroding, because you guys, everybody that's here, what to look for. And
exactly.
And so, and fortunately, most people prefer to buy from like a small, edgy brand that is you guys, than buy a similar product from a bigger brand, unless you're just in love with this pro. Like, don't even get me started on that. That's like, don't even get me started.
I'm as much of a Polnick fanboy as anybody, but that doesn't make me want to buy everything that he throws.
Well, yeah, I am too. That dude's amazing. There's a couple guys that are just, in my opinion, man, you want to talk about sellouts. There's people that have used their past success on various tours, to, snake their way in with larger brands and retailers, and, essentially, completely take share away from small brands that deserve it more. Yeah, the price points are lower, blah, 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 and, I understand media outlets exist to make money, but, in my opinion, the best place to hear about product news and fishing is from live streams like this. Not just because I work with you guys. I don't care. There's 80 live streams out there that I don't work with. Go listen to them. Like that's who you want to be taking product advice from, because let me tell you right now, the shit you see, I mean, fortunately, live coverage takes some of this away. But some of the nonsense that used to go on a couple of years ago is like unbearable. So, anyways, I digress. But I live this every day now because this is a real business now after 6 years. And man, it's just like sometimes I just sit back and I'm like, have fun with that. Whatever it may be, whoever I'm speaking to or conversing with me, it's just like, had enough of this. But anyways, you know, I digress. I'm not going to go there. This is a whole episode. I can tell you about big businesses out there that almost put many small businesses out of business because they didn't pay them for 4 months. I'm talking about invoices that are so big they could cripple a small business. I could tell you guys that I think are just, don't even just, believe me, I know people probably have things to say about me, but I'm pretty straight shooter. You know, it's like, if you wrong me, then generally I don't like you. And I think most human beings are like that. And so, yeah, I mean, I do think it would be an interesting episode, but I also try and not let myself get caught up in this. It's like a lesson my wife's been trying to like instill in me. She's like, babe, who cares? Just do what you do. Just keep going.
No, dude, she's right. And it's hard because it's very, very easy to cross that line and blur that line between like, I am very passionate about this and I want to talk about it and try to be constructive about it. Yeah. But I'm also so passionate about it and care so much that it's going to sound like just me being a whiny prick about it.
Exactly.
It's hard to.
It's hard.
No, dude, it's really, really hard because you want to talk about it because your passion is driving that, but you have to shut down your passion and emotion to be able to talk about it as constructive as possible. And it's just not easy. Yeah. So it's just easier to not talk about it in the end. Exactly. To not come off the wrong way.
And I've like mentioned to like you and 2 other, you know, folks that I work with that handle live streams. And, you know, I've thrown this idea around of like, should we do, you know, and for all the people out there that don't like, you know, Milliken and Ben Milliken, like I do like what that dude is about. You know, as big as Sixth Sense has gotten, I think their focus is right. And I think that he tells it like it is. And I honestly like watching him go out and kind of.
I watched that video.
Dude, I would love to have a conversation like that with some of the things that I have directly seen and can support with plenty of email evidence. You know, but I am truthfully a little scared of getting, you know, an attorney's letter because I've already received about 6 cease and desists from various big entities, and they're totally frivolous and they're totally bullshit. Half the time they don't even remember that they already sent you one 4 months ago. And it's just like, it's time for this stuff to change. And so that, you know, I think there's a couple small brands that are kicking ass, and I don't know if we're one of them. I just think that we just need to keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully there's more consumers like you guys that aren't just like, oh, look at that guy using that bait. I got to go get some of them. That's going to work. It's like, learn what fishing is and then go pick your baits. And I do think that that's what's happening more and more. And I think that's only going to benefit little brands more and more. So it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Yep. Nope, dude, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Well, here, I don't want to cut you short, but I also,
dude, I'm sorry.
People start dipping out by like 9:30, so I want to make the most.
I'm ready to dip out. I have to go shit again.
So I did see a comment from Alec, and I was thinking about this too. Are you going to have a restock on the carpet decal rulers again? 1 and
Dude.
2, you should bring those to the expo.
I am so mad. So you know that the guy, you hooked me up with that guy, Backwoods Graphics.
Yeah.
He went out of business, you know, a year ago.
Yeah, he shut it down.
And he was great. His prices were fair. There's one big commercial printer, and their prices are like, I know what these things cost to make, and so I just won't allow myself to pay what I know their upcharge is. Yep. Again, I'm a value person, and so I'm just like, and I can't find any else, but that's not true. I think one of the guys on the Western Michigan Bass team, who we, you know, send some product to and give them a discount, they're out there in a region where we sell a lot of stuff to. I think one of their families has a printing business, and they actually offered to help me out with these at a price that I thought was fair. And I just haven't had time to revisit it. So they are going to come back. We get it. Yeah. Yeah, but Ryan, I mean, I know a source or two. You know, we'll talk. If it's you know, a smaller independent source, I'd go there. But I'm not going to go through the big printer that everybody uses because, you know, I know what they charge and I know what they're making.
Yeah.
Backwoods Graphics made the best quality product. I've seen a lot of carbon decals. Believe me, their product was the best. That 3M Scotch all they printed on, and their process. I don't know if it's standard, but I've seen a lot of our decals on boats, and they're hanging pretty tough after like 3 years, which is like the last time. Yeah.
Dude, on the Skeeter, mine look great. And Andrew, those FXR stickers that I put on there,
yep.
Did those not still look pretty damn good after 2 years of beating the absolute crap out of them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did that dude print those too?
Yep. Because I wanted a different color scheme than what they had to offer, and I wanted something bigger. I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to put this on my boat. Like, I want it to look right.
Can you call him and see if he still has his machine? Maybe we'll buy it.
I can. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I got his number. I'll just give him a shout.
Oh, yeah, that would be a horrible waste. Not a waste of money, but not where I need to be spending what I'm sure is totally many thousands of dollars. But anyways, the answer is yeah, dude. I'm not for the show. I can't.
Ah, come on,
dude. Maybe if somebody's like, because you know what else I did? The file. This is ridiculous, and I've spent. Now you're refreshing my memory. I spent like, I don't know, 40 minutes digging through 3 different email accounts. I cannot find the print file anywhere.
Oh no.
And I built that thing, and I remember, like, I'm not a Photoshop expert, and so I don't want to take like 3 hours of my time to recreate something that I've already made and had printed. So I was just like, fuck. So yeah, the whole file's got to be rebuilt.
Oh, Iguana Graphics. Thank you, Ryan, for bringing him up. Iguana Graphics. He's based out of Florida. He is a longtime Bass Boat Central.
I'm looking him up right now, Ryan.
Forum guy, sponsor. He was one of the first guys that I got something done for my boat back in like 2010, I think, and he's still in business. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this guy, and everything that I have seen him do is top-notch quality. And as far as I know, he's still a small business guy too. So, like,
I mean,
yeah, 110%, you should look into him.
I'm less concerned with how big the business. I mean, I'd love to support a smaller business, but I also, you know, as long as it's, you know, pricing is reasonable. Like I said, these guys that offer to help me out. Hold on, just checking my volume here. Not bad. Okay, kids probably sleeping. Yeah, Ryan, I'll check him out. I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that.
He's awesome. If I may make one suggestion on the decal, if you were to change it, somehow change it so when I lay my fish on there, we don't block the logo. I was so stoked to use it. I put my big fat fuck fish on it. I'd be like, you have no idea this is a Beast Coast sticker anymore.
Okay. Looks sick when you're standing up there.
That's true.
Yeah, Ryan, I mean, you know what? You know what it looks like, dude. You want to build that file for me, man. There's a shitload of give you a whole bunch of slow flows and some jigs.
There you go, Ryan. Ryan already offered earlier that he would do unspeakable things to get a bunch of stuff from you. So now he can do something legitimate and not sexual.
I'd like to see
That's
that.
funny. That's funny. No, I don't roll that way. Sorry, boys. So Ryan, I don't have the files, dude. That's my point. I like the whole, like, everything needs to be so the rewind is the file was on a MacBook that was like 6 years old that finally, like, I just threw in the garbage, like literally threw in the garbage when I got my new one.
Well, now you know where it is.
Yeah, in a landfill
somewhere, yeah.
Owned by some Connecticut mafioso. So,
hey,
anyways, Ryan, we'll chat. We'll chat about this at some point. But thank you for that source. I've got them opened up on a tab right here. So, anyways, I totally sidetracked what we were talking about, but we did cover the most important stuff as far as product, right? I mean, we got the sled, the slow flow, the hair jigs coming. One thing that is exciting that we need is that baby dozer.
Yeah.
is coming in a 1/4 and I believe a 5/16.
Nice.
And we're going to put a
Good.
2.0. We're going to put a 2.0 version of that hook in
Dude,
there. We need it. So
I've bought so many of those, and we've done so well with them. And there's actually quite a few that I still have in my box where I've ripped the brush guard out of them too, because I was like, this is definitely hindering my bite. And then literally the moment after I take it out, I start getting bit again. I'm like, okay, now this is good, but it still serves a purpose without the brush guard that I can't quite get with any of the other jigs you have. But that's all it takes, man. Like I buy enough of them, and it's like, you know what?
And remember,
out. Don't need it right here.
Those baby dozers we sell a lot of them out into, like the Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri region, and then like down into the Carolinas, Tennessee, like, those fisheries where they have spot smallies and largemouth.
Yeah.
Like those dozers, and they want brush guards because they're fishing brush piles and wood. And dude, you can't throw a jig without a brush guard around wood because it will dig. Like these hooks are so sharp and they're strong as hell. So you're breaking your line. So we do need like a real true, like the dozer, the 7/16 dozer is a small little package, but we need like that little 1/4, 5/16, depending on whether I can get 2 in 1 mold and how much that's all going to cost. I think that's got to happen. So maybe,
absolutely.
I'm thinking maybe just like a 1/4 or a 5/16, or maybe both, but it's been on my mind and it's something I've already gotten it started with the factory. It's just one of many things I need to see if I can do that before I pay myself.
Yep. Do it, man. They're just, they're going to sell like hotcakes. I know a lot of guys do exceptionally well with the 1/4 ounce sniper. If you give them a 1/4 ounce baby dozer too,
3/4 ounce Vanquish.
3/4 ounce. Ooh.
Dude, we have the 3/4 ounce mag. You guys love that Vanquish jig, and I think it's because of how and where you fish. But that little Magnum,
we fish everything.
I love the little Magnum.
Dude, the 3/4 ounce little mag is that thing. That once season rolls back around and like the grass starts to come up, not just here, but the grass is pretty much dead all the way over in the Midwest and even down south of us here in Connecticut. I mean, the deal. It's when that grass starts coming up again, like, and people, because we released that 3/4 ounce mag like very late. Like I think it didn't come out until like September or October. Yeah. But that thing, dude, is sick. I would say instead of a 3/4 ounce Vanquish, before you beg for that, just check out the 3/4 mag. It's awesome, dude. It's got we actually built a weed guard mold, which is just like a little diameter thing that the fibers go into and get cut. It's got like its own weed guard. It just barely comes past, that hook point. We kept the hook the same overall length as the smaller sizes. And so it is a little package for a 3/4 ounce jig. And the weed guard's just tight and compact, but it's like beefier than on the 3/8 and 1/2. So you can actually fish the thing like in wood. That 3/4 ounce mag it's going to be a focus next year, because I don't say this about everything that we make, but I do think that 3/4 ounce mag is just, it's fucking perfect. Like it is, I think it's the best 3/4 ounce jig out there. It does not have a super heavy duty hook. There's guys in Florida that are going to be like, oh, I need a 5/0 Siwash hook. And it's like, do you? It wears holes that big in the fish's mouth.
Right.
They don't eat the throat. But that's their style. Anyways, Derek would get a lot of letters from the big company. I don't know.
Yeah, if you were to make a chatterbait.
So actually, one of the coolest big companies that I've been in conflict with has been Z-Man, because
I remember you telling me the story.
Yeah, the president of Z-Man is just, maybe he was just happy that I went away and changed the product name. But we had the Blade Runner used to be called the Chatter Shad. And, to his point, we were leveraging the equity in that product name for a complementary product. And I couldn't really argue with that. So he sent me a shitload of jackhammers. I still have them in my boat, like so many and I changed the name. And he was like, he was the coolest big business guy that I've really worked with in this industry. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I would, and I would never make a chatterbait because that direct connection that they have is the best. And I don't mean it. I know a lot of small businesses make them with split rings and stuff like that. And if you're catching fish on them, all the better. But in my opinion, the jackhammer, they've got the Elite, and then that new one they just came out with, which looks like they just want to stop paying jackhammer royalties. I forget if it's tungsten or not, but they've got it. They've got it, and they know what they've got, and they're protecting it,
vigorously
with vigor.
yeah.
And so I respect that, and I wouldn't step on that. Yeah. So, anyways, that's the deal. But yeah, so yeah, there you go, Ryan. The switchblade. Not to get into somebody else's business, but I was aware that I think there was some proceedings there that were worked out as well. But again, that's because Z-Man's reasonable. So yeah, Z-Man's a cool deal, but I don't think I'll ever make a chatterbait. Just no point. There's just no point.
It's
that's
very
one of the
rare
things.
that someone's got something cornered that well that it's like it's kind of hard to make a
Can't touch it.
varied version of it.
Yeah,
that
Andrew,
is
exactly.
close
It's like-
to the same performance. So, no, man, what
Yeah.
you're doing, you're fucking killing it with everything.
I wouldn't say that, man. We're just, dude, you know how small we are. It's like me and 1.5 employees. I'm hopefully I got to get somebody to do the finance and books. And, when I used to work for a big entity, inventory management and planning was something I fucking hated those meetings. I was like, why am I in this meeting? It's your job. Like,
Right.
and I just kind of was like, my philosophy has been to just put as much money as I can in the inventory and it'll all work out. I need to be a little more precise. Yeah, Picasso makes pretty good. They make good chatterbait. Yeah, Slobber Knocker. They pay Z-Man a royalty actually. Yeah, so they didn't necessarily get around all of their intellectual property. They actually came to an agreement, which again, I think, I'm sure Z-Man's owners are making bank, but they could have just said no and turned it into a fight. And I think a lot of big brands would have gone that way. But again, Z-Man I think they're pretty A-okay for what that's worth in my book, which is not much. Yeah, man, I love the amount of ducket hate lately. Whew. Man, all over, everywhere. It's everywhere. I'm I have to remain neutral to everything. So, man.
Tell you what, man, let's cut you loose. It's getting late. I'm getting tired.
I'm
anyway.
spent, dude. My wife's probably going to be like, geez, babe, that was pretty long, huh?
Well, we were having fun. Be quiet.
Yeah, no, guys, thank you so much. This was a nice chat. We'll have to talk about, I'm telling you, some of the stuff that I know I can legally share would make people be like, but I just don't. I get anxiety too easily. Like, I don't feel like dealing with a letter from some asshole attorney that has no business even being in the fishing industry. Like, so that's my only hesitation. But I sure would love to tell people that some of these big brands they think they like are just ruthless and scummy.
Oh yeah.
But we'll talk because there's some funny stuff that's happened. I think I've told you 1 or 2 stories about, being in a conference call, trying to obtain the biggest invoice I've ever written, trying to tell me it was 3 months late, and some of the profanity I used on that call with the CFOs and people that were like, huh? And it was just like, you motherfuckers.
I actually really want to hear this story another day.
yeah, I'll have to tell you. Peace, guys.
All right, man. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you. For everybody that's obviously here, you probably already know who he is, but if you don't, it's obviously Derek, the owner of Beast Coast Fishing, based right out of Connecticut. Find them at beastcoastfishing.com. You'll find them at a bunch of local retailers, including Ben's Tackle Shack down in Leicester, Mass. And
yeah, Ben's has a sick selection.
Really good. We were actually just down there a couple weeks ago. He actually posted a video of my kids helping the UPS guy unload the UPS truck, which was fucking hilarious.
That's
it was
awesome.
So,
that's awesome.
No, tons of stuff. You can find it all local, so by all means, check it out. Other than that, Andrew, do your thing.
I was gonna say we will see you next week, but
no, you won't be here.
This dude will see you next week. I'll be down in Florida fishing and doing some bunch of cool stuff, but Sean, will see you next week.
Good for you, Andrew.
Yeah, it should be a fun time. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Sean will see you next week, like every other week, at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/ReelNorthernBass. We will see you guys later, and adios.
Gentlemen,
Have a
adios.
good night.